Hi guys, what's going on?
Hi, so we figured we're gonna do a quick intro to this video because we need to explain something. First of all, you're gonna learn lesson number 1. When you talk, you really slow down. So normally what takes me just under an hour, took me an hour and 20 minutes, and yeah, so that's a good lesson. So we're gonna be doing Young Nails rebalance with Young Nails products, and we also will be talking about the fact that Young Nails went public, or well, they sell to the public, and what we think about it. And we will also talk about what they were talking about in the recent video, and it's about making money as a nail tech, and can a nail tech really make 100K? It's kind of cool.
Hi everyone.
Hello. This is a take number 3. I'm just useless with the intros today. Okay, so in this video, we're going to show you how our tests are working. So this was Amore, excuse me, Amore Bonder and Amore's Crystal Sculpt on this hand, and in this one we used Magic Gel. We used Smooth Ice on this hand, which is more flexible product. And it's kind of interesting. Now looking at these nails, actually, they both lasted really well.
Really well, yeah.
But it kind of looks like almost the Amore lasted a tiny bit better.
I want to say about the same.
Yeah,
close.
Like it's hard to tell because there's like just sliver of lifting on this one.
On both hands though. Just take a look at this one. Like it's
sliver. Yeah.
Both hands basically were the same way. Like I have to say I'm impressed with both products.
Yeah. And it's interesting because actually this product, this Crystal Sculpt, I didn't know the difference, but I got educated by Amore, that the Crystal Sculpt is more rigid than the Sculpt and Shine. So the Sculpt and Shine is equivalent of like a very flexible, hard gel, but it's flexible, but this one is harder, which then I'm surprised because your nails usually do better with more flexible gels. So I guess it just, I don't know.
Worked out really well.
It's wearing well.
Yep. I gotta give thumbs up to both.
Both.
Yeah.
So today we are going to be doing rebalance on these nails. And do you like my new tool?
It's very woody.
I like it actually. I'll show you how I push back the cuticle with this.
Alright.
But anyway, so in today's video we are going to be doing a rebalance on these ones with Young Nails gels.
Yes.
Synergy.
Young Nails.
Yes, Young Nails. So we are going to be doing both hands with the same product. I hope you don't get too bored, but I have stuff that I want to talk about. So I think this is going to be a good time to talk about it because we have lots of time. Anyway, okay. I'm going to use EFILE. He's just shaking his head. I'm going to use EFILE on this hand, prep and do everything with EFILE. I'm going to, on this hand file, just for you guys that don't use EFILE, just for you to kind of see that both can be used with equally good results. Do you have something to say?
Which actually you can reference back to the previous video where we did the exact same thing.
Yeah, and you know what? Because I wanted to talk about a few things, I'm not going to be really talking. Let me just see the thumb. Oh, that's good.
Yeah. No,
I wanted to, if you really wanted to find out more about filing and exactly the angles and all the descriptions and stuff, go back to the previous video. I'm gonna link it below and at the end, and where I explain more about the technique that I'm doing and why I'm doing certain things. Okay. All right. So like 5 minutes.
Let's do this.
So I'm using
Ouch.
I'm using Erica MT20 and fine sanding band. Let's see how this works. Let's just be in the middle. I think I need stronger glasses. Oh my god. No, this one kind of vibrates a little bit.
Yeah, I noticed.
Can you feel it?
Yeah. I can feel it.
And it's not bad, but yeah, it does.
Yeah, but I'm picky, you're picky. You
No,
taught me to
I
be
feel
picky.
it. I feel it.
Like you want it to be nice and smooth and you can just feel that vibration. It drives me nuts.
Okay, good. So this one doesn't. Sometimes you can just rotate the bit a little bit. Okay. Before I do this, I'm gonna use this tool of mine, the amazing too.
Confusing the people.
I know. Sorry, guys. I want to push back. And the reason why I'm gonna do this because I kind of don't want to go back and forth.
Even though you're going back and forth.
Yeah. I don't want to go back and forth because everything from now on is going to be done with the EFILE. So I'm going to prep the nail with the EFILE as well. This is really, really good.
That's good.
Yeah, like I'm actually really
Impressed.
So, okay, what I do, I don't really actually push back the cuticle with this tool. I push back the proximal nail fold. There is a difference. This piece of skin is a proximal nail fold. This piece of skin that's stuck on a nail, that's a cuticle. So when people are cutting this part, they're cutting a living skin proximal nail fold.
Yeah.
Not cool. It doesn't need to be done. Look how nice.
When I see people cutting that, it just weirds me out. And then when you see people that are doing like these close-up videos and you see them bleeding, I'm like, oh, please stop.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Please
I don't know. There's a shadow here. I don't know why we have a shadow. Why do I have a shadow on a nail? I hope people can see.
The setup's the same.
So,
well, you know what? Actually, it's a little bit different because it is the morning where normally we film in the early afternoon.
No, we usually film in the morning too. Well, we used to. I think the best light you have in there's a slight separation here because, you know, some people use their nails. This is bugging me, the shadow. Can I see here?
I have no idea what shadow you're seeing. Like everything looks fine.
I'm seeing a shadow.
Maybe it's from the EFILE?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know, but like, it's still... So now I'm going to use my favorite file, the Erica file, and kind of go over it. This one is kind of worn off a little bit. Worn out? Worn off?
Worn out.
Worn out. So...
All right, so let's get into some conversation. Let's conversate.
Let's conversate.
Let's generate some conversation.
I don't even know where to start because the topic is
very broad.
And you know what? The problem is that, well, we will talk about it, but it slows me down a little bit working, which, whatever, I guess people will forgive me.
Or they won't.
Or they won't.
And for those people that won't forgive, unsubscribe.
Karma's bitch.
Oh.
No, don't tell people to
Potty
unsubscribe.
mouth.
Yeah, I know. Oops.
Yeah. Shh. And now our videos have gone to the bottom of the list.
Because I said the S word? No, the B word.
The S word? Okay.
The S word. What's the S word? You know,
There's
SH.
lots of those.
The SH. All right.
The SHITT.
So now I'm going to. This one still vibrates.
Yeah,
what the
it
hell?
is. I noticed it. Like it was smooth, and then it just started to vibrate.
Today is one of those days that.
Oh, that was me yesterday.
Okay, too bad. You're gonna have to put up with this.
Okay, that's better though.
For a minute. Okay, so I'm just going to.
So we're gonna talk about young nails.
Yeah. First, what did I want to talk about?
We wanted to talk about young
This
nails.
is vibrating. Oh my god.
And well, is it the actual?
Okay,
Do
so
you
there's
think
two
it could
things.
be the bit, or do you think it's?
It could be. I think it's the bit.
It's got some vibrations.
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 Okay, now.
Oh, is that one better?
Oh. You know, yeah,
Really
and you know
it's
what?
gonna be nice and smooth. Oh, nice and smooth.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was. Okay, let's get this straight. So we want to talk about young nails, but we also want to talk about
Young nails.
Oh man, we had a meeting about this just before filming.
Yeah, just so.
This is bad.
We have all our ducks in a row. We don't.
No, we
because
really
we have
don't.
a great memory. So here, what I'm doing is it's about that video that Young Nails did recently about. They're asking if nails is a real job.
Oh yes, okay.
Right?
So that's
about that and about the fact
they've gone public.
They've gone to the other side.
To the dark side.
To the dark side.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah. So
let's start off with is doing nails a job?
Yes, exactly.
And one that pays well.
Exactly. So from my experience, I actually never had that issue with people not taking me seriously. So I kind of don't know what do they mean by that. Never in my 25 years of doing nails, nobody kind of go, oh really, that's what you do for a living? Nobody did.
No.
Right?
No, you've always been taken very serious. I mean,
because I'm a serious person. That's
serious.
why maybe.
For serious.
No, like, I don't know. I think what they mean is that, because too bad that you didn't watch the video, but they were kind of saying that, I guess what people are doubting is, are you going to make money at doing nails? I think that's what was the question was.
Is it actually a sustainable
job? So it's, yeah.
Or business.
Or business.
Or however you want to look at it.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to be able to pay your rent? Are you able to make a sustainable living? I think is the biggest thing. And so, can you?
Yeah.
Sure. Now, are you going to be making lots of money at it? 9 times out of 10? No.
Okay, so they were saying that, you know, and I kind of get it, because people try to be encouraging and then they try not to crush people's dreams, right?
Right.
And I sometimes feel that I kind of, like, when I talk, I'm so kind of real, and
not that they kind of. Let's make that.
No, yeah. But like, I'm kind of like this old bitter nail tech. Like I feel like this old bitter hag that's just like, I don't know, being negative.
A dream crusher.
Dream crusher.
I want to get a nail. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
It's a terrible idea.
Save yourself.
We don't mean that, by the way.
No.
It's, you know what? If you want to get into nails, that's great. You're doing it though, not to make money. That's not.
That should not be the main cause.
Right.
Not main.
You do this because you love doing it, not because you're out to try and make
Quick
$1 million annually.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not realistic. And I mean, it was brought up, I suppose, about making. I guess Habib had said about
like that he knows nail techs that are making really good money, like 100,000 and whatever. And I'm like, okay. So one thing that people confuse very, very often is making and billing. So I really don't know if he kind of meant it that way, but it's, to an average person, it sounds like making, meaning your paycheck is at the end of the year is going to be 100K, which I don't think it's possible. Do the math. Like, okay.
Hold on. Do I think, can people make $100,000 annually, like take home, doing nails? Yes. Do I think that is going to be an average? No. I would say the 1% of the 1%, like your upper echelon, will they make that type of money? Yes. Yes, you will always have those people. But the average, I would say,
that's like
being realistic, take home for the average is going to be probably 30,000, 40,000. You're not going to be making that type of money. Now, am I trying to crush people's hopes and dreams? No. Could you potentially be that person that will be making that type of money? Potentially.
Yeah, but that's like kind of saying, I don't know, to me, and again, I'm being maybe bitter, but it's almost like winning lottery. I personally,
the chances are quite slim, but that's the 1% of the 1%.
But personally, and I've been in the industry, well, for over 20 years. I have been an educator, a distributor of products. I used to sell products. I used to educate in Canada, internationally, mainly in Europe, but in the States too. And I have a lot of nail techs friends all over the world. But I also, we when we did distribution, like we actually went to the salons here in Ontario, local places. Anyway, I personally don't know one person that makes 100,000. I don't.
Okay, well,
I don't.
Now, we've had the wonderful opportunity over the years to go around the world to teach, to distribute products for companies, to do, even going to a lot of the local nail salons, meeting a multitude of hundreds, of nail techs over the years, if not even into the thousands, to be honest. And out of all those, we may know maybe one or two that are making that type of money.
100,000? No.
I would say one or two.
Making 100,000?
Yes.
No. Who? Okay. We don't want to be exposing people, but okay.
Well, and I think that'd be probably best just
No,
to
I
keep
know, of course.
that private, but I would say that out of all those technicians, there's at least
Okay,
one or
I have
two.
no idea who he's talking about because honestly, whatever, we'll talk about it later in private. Because
But just
I
the
don't.
same, just the same, there's a very minute amount that get to that point. Now, before we leave ourselves just and regurgitating, the same thing over and over and over again, I don't see it as being a realistic expectation that this is what you're going to be coming out of school and within the first 5 years to be making 10 years or more. I mean, I would just say that, 100,000, that's a great goal. But I would say that just be realistic with yourself and say, okay, you know what, the average is going to be, like, I might only get up to 30, 40,000, and so if you're trying to get into this to make money, to have a very successful, financially successful career,
Yeah.
I think you might be barking up the wrong tree. Now, if you're doing this because you love doing it and it's just absolutely fantastic to you, perfect.
Okay, no, it is exactly.
But just know that, as someone who's very passionate about what you're doing, this is roughly what you'll be making.
Yeah.
Who knows? You might be that very rare person that makes it to that point.
Yeah, but it's
for
rare.
the average,
For nail techs,
don't
no.
expect that to be
Because-
a common occurrence.
Exactly, because I would like to see the breakdown of how, to make 100K as a self-employed nail tech, because, let's say I charge $60 an hour, and that's pretty high. And I've had sometimes people kind of comment like, oh, it must be nice. No, it must be nice. I still at the end of the year, I'm not making that much money. So yes, my sales are about 100K, but that's not what I make. Because at least half of it goes to the expenses, the rent, the products, even the equipment,
Taxes.
everything. Taxes, yeah, everybody has to pay taxes. But
No,
it's
but
like,
that's something you have
like
to take into account.
insurance, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of little things. Payment processing. I don't know,
Your business
bookkeeping.
renewal.
Like, oh my God, all these little things. Nobody kind of really thinks about it, but all these little things, like, when I moved, painting the salon. Yes, I could do it myself, but I'm busy, so I can't be, at two places at
Doing
the same
the floor,
time.
the
Painting.
renovations.
Yeah, like,
there's things, and this comes
and
out
we
of the
did it.
business's pocket.
Yeah, and we did it kind of the cheap way too.
Yeah,
like,
we
it was
did a lot
not-
of it. Like a lot
yeah,
of this was
ourselves.
DIY. And I feel very fortunate that we have the skill set,
But-
skill sets to do that. But
Yeah.
there's some people who don't that have to then fork out that type of money
Yeah.
to have these things done. But these are things that need to be taken into consideration when you look at your finances overall from annually.
Yeah, so a lot of it goes to expenses, and also people they kind of forget one thing, and I'm going to be 100% honest with you. You will not be kind of always 100% booked, no matter how successful you are, because you need that. Sometimes the slow times to. Yeah, you just can't. I don't know. Like for a while, I was 100% booked, and it was actually crazy. That was 3 years ago, and I'm kind of gonna give you an idea on what happened. So that was 3 years ago, and I'm in a good area, affluent area. I worked my butt off to kind of get to where I am, because sometimes people also say, "Oh, you're so lucky you're in Oakville." Trust me, it's not so lucky, because people here are not stupid. They're not blowing money. It's funny. A friend of ours told me once. He says, when I moved to Oakville, he said that people in Oakville have deep, short arms and deep pockets. That's what he said. And I was
Yeah.
like, right?
Yeah.
So
Very
yeah,
true.
so and I actually have a client who is has her own business, but she's she's actually an accountant, very successful. Her husband is in finances, whatever, makes good money. But anyway, so I mean, they live in this huge mansion here, but nonetheless, a smart woman, okay, when it comes to money too. And you know what she told me, and I actually asked her, I'm like, do you think I'm, you know, just successful because I'm in Oakville? And she kind of laughed, honestly. She laughed. She's like, no. You know why? Because you provide a good value, and people here are very value, what did she say?
Oriented.
Very value conscious.
Yeah.
So if they feel that something is valuable, they'll spend the money on it, but trust me, it's not that easy. But anyway, where I was going with this.
Over the years, I just want to add, over the years, we've seen very good, very valuable businesses tank.
Yeah.
And all around us. And that's not to say that we know what we're doing. I think that we're just as much as everybody else, just not floundering around in the dark.
Yeah, but making our mistakes too.
Oh yeah, and that's
Totally.
the thing. Like, but we've watched these, you know, very valuable services and businesses collapse.
Yeah.
Which is really, really unfortunate. I mean, there's been times where we've seen, you know, a lot of for rent signs in this area, and it goes to show you, you know, like people here, for as much money as they have, they're very mindful of how they spend it.
Yeah. And that's why they have the money.
Exactly. You don't have that type of money by blowing that type of money.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, unless you're like MC Hammer, and let's be honest, we all see how that turned out.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, but what happened 3 years ago? Okay, so just kind of over 3 years ago, I was like super booked. I was working with clients in the salon about 50 hours a week. So I had like 10-hour days every single day. I was booked solid, like I mean completely solid, especially over the summer, like 3 months in advance.
Yeah.
And I kind of, not that I was cocky, but I was just like, oh, I'm so booked, you know, I'm so great and everything else. So what happened was, I had an employee, and you know, the money was good. I had an employee, she was an assistant, so I was teaching her, so she was sometimes prepping the clients, whatever. But what happened was, something happened to my shoulder. So, and not to mention how stressed I was about everything. Because you know, people think that once you get to that level of being booked, you're kind of, it's good, right? But it was actually not good, because I felt like I was working all the time, and people were sometimes trying to change appointments, and that was not available, and I was losing sometimes regular clients because
the availability was
I just didn't have the time. And I remember sometimes trying to rebook people and kind of flipping back and forth, and yes, people had pre-book appointments, but sometimes they had to change something, because I have a lot of my clients are business women mostly, right? So you know, sometimes they had to go on a business trip or whatever, so they had to change something. And here I am, like flipping between the weeks, kind of like hoping that something is going to appear. And I'm like, I have nothing for 3 months. So sometimes even if I did have opening and I was trying to book a new client, if it was a client for, you know, for gel, which mostly that's what I did, I had nowhere, like, so she would come in for gel, but I had nowhere to fit her. So yes, raise your prices, blah, blah, but you know, raising prices is not always the answer, and all of us are scared, right? Because we don't want to lose the clients.
Right.
So we kind of think always like, oh, well, we'll just get a little bit busier and whatever. And then I knew also, because that was over the summer, that the fall is going to slow down, because I did have a lot of pedicures in the summer, because, you know, everybody wants a pedicure in the summer. Where am I going with this? So then all of a sudden I started having issue with my shoulder. So turns out I had this weird thing happen. It was, it's a stupid name, frozen shoulder. So adhesive capsulitis, that's the proper form. So, and really nobody knows why this happens. So it's usually triggered by some kind of, sometimes very small injury, but instead of your body seeing it as a small injury, your body kind of freaks out. And sometimes they say it could be overcompensate. So there is a combination, because usually it happens to women between the age of 40 and 60, I think. So some say it has to do something with hormones. So your hormones might be a little bit out of whack. Stress plus a little injury, it kind of, your body freaks out, and instead of healing that little injury, it just kind of blocks the whole shoulder. It just locks it up completely. So what happens is this scar tissue builds up. You get major inflammation. Anyway, long story short, I can't even tell you what kind of pain I was in. So I couldn't work the way I used to, and I had to kind of, like, I looked at my books, I chose half of my clients, the regulars. I had to cancel everybody else because I had a lot of doctor's appointments and specialist appointments and physiotherapists and chiropractors, massage therapy. I've tried everything, right? So of course,
Red light therapy. Don't forget that one.
yeah, that energy work, everything. So of course I had to cancel everybody and kind of go, okay, well, so I had to let my employee go as well, because like I'm like, I don't even know if I might have to close my business, because my chiropractor friend of mine, she's like, you know, if this gets really bad, like you really have to take it easy, because you might have to actually close your business and let this thing heal, which completely freaked me out, because I had lease signed, right? And how am I supposed to now take 3 months off for this to heal? So, you know, this is the kind of a situation which people don't think about when you're self-employed. All they think is, you know, oh yeah, you can see 8 clients a day times whatever 60 that you're charging, you're making like so much money. But it kind of doesn't work that way. So funny enough, this whole experience actually taught me a huge lesson. It was kind of a blessing in disguise, because by doing that, like canceling half of my clients and just staying with the regulars and just basically only booking 2 weeks in advance, it taught me a very, very valuable lesson. That being booked that far in advance with the same clients, because it's one thing if you're a massage therapist, if you are like tattoo artist and you're just doing, you know, you're seeing a client once, you don't have to do like ongoing appointments, then sure, yeah, you can be booked 6 months in advance. But if you're booked 6 months in advance, or 3, whatever, with the same clients, it's like, what's the point, right? So anyway, so I had to only keep the regular clients that, you know, I kind of could count on. And I would honestly work, there's a little pocket here or something. You know what I do sometimes? I spray a prep. If I can't see what's going on, I spray like an alcohol. So, where was I going with this? So, I only kept the regular clients because I actually almost work like every second client. So, and medication, by the way, was not even helping with this pain. So anyway, so I would, you know, have a client, then I had to sit with a heating pad, like literally on my pedicure chair, and like relax after each client, and you know, whatever. So yeah, I kind of, that was a huge lesson. So
those are some dark days.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, my good sales didn't last. Okay, so I could work like that for, let's say, maybe 3 years at that kind of a pace, but this is not something that you can do for 10 years. You can't.
At that pace. At that pace. 100% booked work. And another thing that I think people forget too is that the business just doesn't stop after, say, 9 to 5 and being fully booked with clients.
Well, exactly.
Now, when you were fully booked with clients, where do you have time to do everything else for the business? Because the business just doesn't run itself while you're doing the services. If you're the sole service provider, you still have to do all the other things, and so your days become very long, because you're at your establishment doing your clients from whatever time to whatever time, 100% booked, let's say. Well, at the end of it all, you still have at least probably a good 2-3 hours of work.
Yeah.
You know, if you're running a tight ship, at least, and you're running your business properly, is, you know what, having all these other things that you have to take care of, and there's, on top of that, you have your marketing, you have, oh boy, like it gets...
You have to order products, you have to sometimes go and get some education, you have to talk to your accountant, you have to
clean the place.
You have, I don't know, 50 million other things. So,
do your YouTube videos, then there's the editing, or even the uploading, and all
listen, social media nowadays, you gotta
be on top of it.
You have to be on top of it. So, okay, maybe not everybody does YouTube, but a lot of people do Instagram, and so that takes, you know, and you have to do it, because you always have to... you always have to market yourself. You can't just be kind of like, oh, I'm so fully booked, I don't need to, because you know that doesn't last either sometimes, right? So you have to work on your business. So if you're working 50-hour weeks, when do you work on your business? So
not in the business, but on the business. Those are two very different things. Now, Now, going back to it all, kind of to the original topic, and I don't want to, cut this short, but, this idea of working and being 100% booked and being able to, let's say, make this 100,000 or more as a sole service provider, let's say, I think is highly unrealistic for the average nail technician. And again, like I'm not saying that it's impossible and that there aren't people who have done it. There are people who have done it that are doing it. It's just not a realistic expectation for the average.
Yeah.
But moving on, we have the second part of this conversation we did want to do, which was talking about young nails going public with their product.
Okay, but I still kind of wanted to.
Okay, if you
well,
want to go back
just a little bit finish up with this thing.
Yeah.
So, oops, did I hurt you a little bit? So, because we're kind of talking about the problems, but we're not really talking about the solutions. So, my schedule now. So now I'm actually, because I can have 8 clients a day, but because usually each service takes about an hour that I do, but can I do it every single day? 47 weeks out of the year, for example, right? Or whatever. No, because I hate my life. Like I start hating my job and I start feeling overwhelmed, so I can't. So I kind of figured out a way. For me, like a healthy balance is about 6 hours a day working in the business, and then spending the 2 hours and really kind of pacing yourself, so you're not just sitting and doing useless stuff, but really actually spending
more like 4 hours on the business.
Yeah, well, 2 hours. So let's say the 6 hours plus the 2 hours at the salon I usually do. So I do some Instagram, Facebook, I text with client, whatever you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then realistically, it's another 2 probably at home at least for me, but that's because I do this other thing, right?
Because
like the
you're
YouTube
crazy.
and stuff, yeah. No, but this is realistic because if you want to have a life and if you want to be healthy, if you want to not kill yourself, you cannot work like that. And physically, your body breaks down. Like how many nail techs do we know that have carpal tunnel? Like, okay, yes,
shoulder
you can
issues,
exactly.
Elbow issues, wrist issues, finger issues.
Yeah.
Because they have worked themselves to that point they're not taking their health as serious as the rest of their business, and at least, and when I say that, like at least making sure that they're taking care of themselves in order to take care of their customers.
Yeah.
And I think people lose sight of that they need to,
because we all think we have to like hustle, okay? And it's
and be on the grind.
Yeah, exactly, and like be so proud of it. And like how many nail techs? Yeah, like how many nail techs that they're like, oh, I don't even have time to eat. I don't even have time to get up, or I just had coffee all day. Well, I'm sorry, that's
not
stupid.
Healthy. That's stupid.
You can do this crazy before you go away on vacation or something, right? Like if you really want to.
For short spurts.
Yeah,
like
you can't.
A week, 2 weeks at a time.
You burn out. You burn out so quickly, and not to mention, so Habib was talking about how great this industry is, and yes, it's great. Like actually, it's very supportive, I find. But where was I going? This. I know.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. No, but it's not that profitable, especially at first, and that's why. So, I just want to make sure and be very clear that yes, it's great. It's worth getting into, but not for the wrong reasons. So I think sometimes maybe people have high expectations, or I don't know what it is, that, for example, the dropout rate in the States is like 80 to 90%. Tina was
because
saying.
they come to realize that they're not going to be making 60, 70,000
Exactly.
right off the crank.
And it takes time. Like I would say, okay, so I have, again, a lot of my clients are, very smart women. So some of them own businesses, whatever. So I have this one client who owns multiple restaurants. She actually doesn't work she does the accounting part, but yeah, they own multiple restaurants. So she was telling me that, I'm like, how long does it take for the business to start making money? And another friends of ours, they have a gym, right? Same thing. I asked them the same question. How long does it take? Like realistically, I'm like 2 years, and they laugh.
Yeah.
No, they're like 10 years.
Yeah.
It takes you about 10 years and it's the same thing even with YouTube. Like I've been doing this for 2 years, 2 and a half. everybody that is successful at YouTube, unless you're like a freak,
it takes them
whatever.
7 years,
Takes
8
7,
years. Like it takes
5.
time.
It takes. Everybody tells me this. 5 years. You're like, okay, this makes sense. Okay, I think I can do it, because for the first 5 years, you're like, I have to say it, like, shit, what the hell am I doing? Like, this is bad, right? Like, it's tough. The first
Two
few
potty
years, it's what?
2 potty words.
Oh, yeah, I know. So at first, it's really, really hard. The first 2 years, so what you're doing is, very often, if you don't have a lot of money, see, I was talking, it's been like 40 minutes for me to do this prep. But when you are starting without a lot of money, what you end up doing is you end up reinvesting back in the business, okay?
Yeah.
So let's say that you made $5,000, which, whatever, like your sales were 5,000. You might take home, I would, at the beginning especially, like 1,000 home, and the bills were, let's say, 3, and keep that 1,000 back, right, in the business, right?
Because the business has to grow and
exactly.
Has to make
So
money.
what happened in those few months, like my shoulder eventually got better. I got cortisone injections, and this stupid thing actually
but
goes
2
away.
years. 2
2
years.
years it took, actually, yeah. So, and what happens now with the shoulder is that I have to take the EFILE, because you know what, I just don't want to cut him with the file. So with the shoulder, what happens is very often, like, the reoccurrence in the other shoulder rate is about 30 to 40%, which is super high. So I just don't want to go there. I don't want to kill myself again. So I have to work the way I work in order to stay in this industry. And I'm overall, I would say, pretty healthy. Like, you know, I don't have major issues, but again, I work with clients about 6 hours.
Well, I think what it is that you kind of
day.
learn the threshold and
Yeah.
found that balance of working with clients,
Yeah.
working the business, keeping yourself healthy, and hopefully not having a reoccurrence where, say, your other shoulder ends up with frozen,
know.
you know,
Yeah.
developing frozen shoulder in the other shoulder, which would set us back exactly to where we were.
Exactly. So, okay, before I forget, sorry. So what happened was, the reason why I actually survived in my business, I would say the 6 months were the worst. Like the whole summer, and then till early fall, like literally I was 50% booked, if I'm lucky, because I had money in my account, in my business account, I survived. Because I had savings in my business account, so I was not paying myself all the money that I was making, right?
I don't know if you guys can see what that was, but that was quotation shoes,
Yeah,
you know.
making.
But
I'm gonna grab the brush.
no, and what Anna's saying, I wholeheartedly agree with. You know, the business has to make money. Like, and the business doesn't care if you're sick, if you're well, it doesn't care about anything. Like, it needs to make the money, you know, and so do you, you know, like, but at the same time, the business has to make money in order to grow. And in times like this, and I feel very fortunate that we had invested into the business as much as we have, because during those dark times,
I actually had money to pay myself.
yeah, I had money to pay yourself. The business was still keeping afloat.
Somehow, yeah, like I could
we
pay
were
the
able to
rent.
keep things functioning, albeit, you know, kind of a very in a skeleton sort of way. But we were able to, just the bare bones of it all, make it work. And you know, it kind of forced us to reevaluate how we run the business and how many people we take on, and the focal point stopped being about the finances and making lots of money. And in fact, it became about health and longevity more than it was about making money.
I always look at things long term, basically.
Yeah.
And another thing that Habib, and it's not that I'm trying to kind of like poo-poo on everything that they said, but this is something that a lot of people say, because these are like really cat words that everybody wants to kind of hear. Another two things that honestly, like I kind of felt two things. I felt I don't know,
So here's
uncomfortable about that whole thing. So he said, you know, like, it's like, yeah, you can first of all like be your own boss and have the freedom, and I'm like, you don't have a freedom. What freedom?
There is
To choose the 12 hours that you're working. That's you know, in a day. No, you actually don't have freedom, because you know what? If I'm sick, you know, a normal person, when they are sick and they have a real job. Okay, I know I shouldn't say that. When they have another job than when being
when
self-employed,
they're employed by someone else.
you call and you say, listen, I'm sick, okay? I can't do that. I have to still take care of, the bookings. And then, when you're fully booked, where are you going to put those clients?
When you're sick. Yeah. When you actually have to take a
what
day
if
or two
you
off.
Exactly.
You have nowhere to room. You have no room to move. And you know what? I would say that as someone who is employed, I feel I have far more freedom than being a business owner. And it's kind of weird. Like, I have the opportunity of being both. And I understand the values of both. And yes, it's great being a business owner. But at the same time, I love being an employed person because you know what? There's a lot more freedom to being an employee than being an employer. And, like what you can say, what you can do, taking time off, having vacation time, not having to worry about so many things. Now my position where I work is a little bit different, where I have to worry about some of these things, but definitely not to the same extent as I do with the business.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you, we're just talking about it the other day too, like there's this, I don't want to give out too much information, maybe I shouldn't be talking about it, but when people have issues, at least they have like the HR to go to, right? Like and when you are self-employed, you have to pay a shrink or someone to talk about like this, right? Because you have nobody cares. Your clients don't care. Do you think actually my clients cared about what happened to my shoulder? No. They're like, oh yeah, that sucks, and I need my pedicure next week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've lost a lot of clients through that. Do you think they're back? Not really.
No, definitely not. And
so that's the freedom. No, you don't have freedom, but it's kind of a freedom because I guess you can make your own choices, but they have consequences.
You don't have someone making the choices for you, but at the same time, if you're looking at running $100,000 a year business, where you're taking home that type of money, you don't have many rooms of option here. Like, in order to run a business of that type of caliber, you're putting in a lot of hours, you're putting in a lot of work, and like it's not as sunshine and farts as people like to think it is. Being a self-employed, business owner, entrepreneur. Yeah. Like trust me, it has its perks.
Yeah.
And it's something that we do enjoy.
The good thing about this business is the fact that I'm gonna use the protein bond. Yes. The good thing that this is like a trade. You have skill in your hand. The logo?
I really like the update. It looks really, really nice.
So the good thing is that you actually have a skill in your hand. So yes, and I've done it too, where you can move and you can you have something that you can take with you because you have an actual skill, okay? Sure. But on the other hand, when you are working for someone, when you start working, you get your paycheck. And yes, maybe it's kind of, crappy, but you get a paycheck. If I stop, let's say if I take a year off, 6 months off, if I go away for too long, or if I get sick for a year, I start from scratch, from zero. And again, it takes me 2 years, and even at kind of my level, it takes a while to build up a business.
And that's
those 2 years, you're breaking even, you're not making any money. So,
And that's with us knowing the template, kind of there's a level of just basics to business owning and running a business that will make money. There's a very strong basics to it. I don't care what business it is. There's a backbone to all of it. And with us knowing and being as fluent with it as we are, it still takes time.
Yeah, it takes time.
It still takes time.
Yeah, if I open a business somewhere else now, so let's say we can, for example, like it's not as freedom, kind of. It's not as.
You're not as free as you'd like to be.
No.
And it's not as great as some people would like you to think. And that's not to say that that they're that Habib is selling you short on the idea or trying to steer you the wrong way. Because you know what, if you have a passion for what you do and you love what you do,
you're free because you're not tied to a shitty job that you hate.
Exactly. So you know what, there is that freedom and there is that love, and let me tell you, I wouldn't trade this up for anything. And I know that this is Anna's passion, and it's something that was kind of passively given to me. And I can't imagine giving it up. And we're not making a 100,000, annually,
but-
take home. But it's not
It's something
really
that I
about the
honestly
money
wake up
for
every
us.
day. Exactly. I wake up every day, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I thank God for what I have. I really do, because it is. I mean, come on. And I think that's why. Oh, let's just do. Hold on. We're gonna do the bonder first.
Bonder first.
Base. Okay, we're gonna do simple stuff. Build and base.
Build in base.
I do appreciate what I have, and that I get to work in a really nice environment. Really, like it is a feel good job, for sure, because
You get to
people.
kind of pick and choose
Yeah,
your
like,
clients.
exactly.
And that's kind of a huge one.
Yeah, exactly. Also, people are happy to see you. Okay, people are happy to leave. You're doing like a feel good kind of services. You're not working with I don't know, with tough situations, like when
There's
people
kind of
are
an instant gratification in doing
Yeah,
what you do, because every
exactly.
hour and a half.
you finish your work, right? Like
Well, it's not just that. It's just that you've created a masterpiece in that time. You've taken something that's okay. It's 2 weeks old. There's some lifting here. There's this. There's this. There's this. And you've had the opportunity to repair it and give them what they came in for, like what they're looking for.
And they're appreciating it, right?
Yeah.
So they're happy to get this done.
Yeah.
So like it's a feel good job. Like we're not and people sometimes come in with issues and they kind of dump things on us. That happens too. But there's ways of kind of dealing with this. But just generally, like I work in a beautiful area. I work in a beautiful area, like with beautiful products.
In a beautiful salon.
In a beautiful salon,
And for those of you who are wondering what our place looks like, feel free to go hit up our
Instagram.
our
I just
Instagram.
posted actually a picture.
We have some really lovely pictures of the salon, and it's absolutely fantastic.
No,
it's a great
it's
little
beautiful.
place. Yep.
So, and that is definitely okay. So the base coat you cure for normally like freeze cure for 20 seconds. We're curing it in UV. I'm gonna just move this. But so they're.
Either my hand is way too fat.
Yeah,
or...
your hand is fat.
Thank you for that, by the way.
2 minutes. 20 seconds, or however long it takes you to apply the base coat to the other hand. That's what they're saying.
Okay.
But anyway.
Anyways, let's move on to the second half here. But so Young Nails has gone public with their product, and what that means for those of you who are a little unsure is that it's not just a professional only product. It is now being sold to everybody and
the consumer,
to
basically.
the regular consumer. Which, there's two very strong sides of this coin. And I see
hold on a second, because people usually actually are confused, because all the products pretty much you can now get it online. So that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about actually their website now not requiring a license or any type of certification.
Okay, let's kind of elaborate a little bit. So.
Because people are like, don't you can get anything on eBay or whatever. Yeah, I know, that's different. What's kind of what they did now is they they're selling to the consumer.
Give access to anybody and everybody. You don't have to have a license to purchase. And so I see this from two different points of view.
A lot of people are up in arms.
Yeah, there's people who are bent out of shape about it, and I get it. I understand. However, at the end of the day, everybody who's listening, they have a business to run.
And you know what? Like when you actually interrupt.
Hold on. No. Just let me. They have a business to run, and the thing is, are you going to stifle your business? Are you going to? How did I put this earlier? That they're in the business of growing and expanding their company, and that's what they're in the business of doing, is being better all the time. And are you going to throttle yourself? Are you in the business to throttle yourself? No. You want to grow. You want to expand. You want to.
And
take
hold on
your
a second.
business to
And
the
some
next
people are
level.
kind of like, everybody's greedy at first. Guys, actually, when it comes to Young Nails, like listen to their story, how they started and for how many years they starved.
Oh yeah.
Like they had.
Oh man.
Yeah, and that's a good kind of a comparison. How long it takes to actually build a business.
But
because when they seemed so successful, like I remember doing a lot of trade shows and they were there, and yes, they were successful, but they probably were putting every penny
into what
back
they were
into the
doing,
business, right, in order to grow this company. So I don't blame them for kind of doing what they're doing and for trying to kind of do the business the new way, because a lot of things are changing, right?
Well, okay, and I want you to take into consideration how many people are employed by them now. How many people are now paying their bills because of how much they've grown and expanded their business? I think a lot of people lose sight of that, you know what, there's people being employed by their growing and expanding and stuff like this. And yeah, you can be very short-sighted about the idea of saying, well, you know, how dare they, and you know, this should be a professional use only product. And to a degree, I understand. But at the same time, they're running a business, they're growing a company, and
Flash cure them a little bit. Oh my God.
I'm not too sure what happened there.
The karma's getting you.
Karma's getting me. There's someone who's doing some voodoo here.
Yeah.
Holy moly. But I get that. And I understand that because, you know what, as a business owner, as someone who works for a very big company, I understand that. Like, this is what you're in the business of doing, is growing, expanding, making money, growing your brand, whatever.
And
on the flip side, of course, is that, do I think this should be a professional use only product? Yes, I do.
I actually do.
Now, here's a couple things. I believe that, you know what, as a consumer, as someone who's buying the product, licensed or not, educated or not, you should know what the hell you're doing before you purchase the product. You should know what's in that product. You should understand how it works. And I think Young Nails has done a great job of educating the masses, providing a plethora of information to the general public on how to use the product and what to do with their product. Basically, it's like, well, here's a lot of free education, free information on how to use our product. You know, but as the end user, you should know what the hell you're doing, not just grabbing it and slapping it on and being stupid with it. So for those who are doing that and developing allergies, well, that's on you. Don't blame the product, don't blame the manufacturer, blame yourself. On the same note, because there's a lot of people like that, there should be that mindfulness that it should be a professional only product, because you have a lot of sheeple out there and people who just they just use things. They don't think.
You know, are you a friend about the cream the other
yes,
day too?
And so I have
Same thing.
a coworker who ended up getting salicylic acid to help with some blackheads.
You know, beta-hydroxy acid, right? And they probably have actually, we're not going to talk about the company, but it's a consumer kind of company.
Yeah.
That has these products, and like the guy is like, you know, how often did you use it, whatever, and he's like, I don't know, did you read the label? I don't know.
So
and
these
what
are
happened?
the questions that I'm asking. Well, hold on. What happened is that my coworker came to me and was showing like some severe redness in a couple spots on his face, and I'm like, hey, you know, what's going on? Oh, I was using this, you know, this cream for my face, you know, to deal with blackheads. And so I started probing, and I'm like, well, you know, is it like salicylic acid? And yeah, that's what it is. This is where we picked it up. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, where did you learn about this? Oh, well, my girlfriend told me. I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, well, how long have you been using it? I don't know, a few days. And I'm like, okay, well, are you using anything else? And this guy's known to have sensitive skin. He knows this. I know this. And sure enough, he has an allergic reaction, or has a reaction. I'm not a doctor. I can't say that it was an allergy.
Anyway, his skin started blistering.
His skin starts blistering and scabbing. He goes out in the sun. He's having problems with those spots. And all this could have been probably avoided had he done his due diligence about learning, understanding the product. You know, even doing like a test spot just to see if there's...
This one stays in.
Oh, this one stays in? Okay, sorry. But no, and as the end user, didn't do his due diligence, now has a reaction to it. Yeah. Do I blame the company? No. Do I blame him? Yes, I do. Okay. And to the coworker who I'm talking about, if you happen to see this, shame on you.
But okay, so this is a good example of what happens when people, you know, use products and they don't really know much about them, right?
Yeah.
Because an average person, so I kind of foresee a little bit of a problem. We'll just move this
Could there be
over.
backlash to this, and that there's an intervention from intervening, of the government and an
Banning the
overcorrection?
products?
Yeah. Basically,
that's what I'm worried about.
Well, yeah, because you're going to get a public outcry of, we've developed allergies, and the government steps in and overcorrects, which they are very known to do. And suddenly they're going to start banning products, and it's going to potentially force companies like Young Nails and as all other nail product manufacturers to then have to reformulate their product because too many people are having problems. And why? Because they didn't do their due diligence. Now, is that Young Nails' fault? Nope. It's the consumer's fault.
Yeah, but that's.
But this is what could be potentially the outcome because of it, which is really, really unfortunate. And so I get what they're doing. I wholeheartedly agree with what they're doing, to a degree, of course, because I also agree that it should still be a professional-only product because this is what could happen in the foreseeable future.
I think professionals even should have stricter
education.
rules on certain products. Like, I think they should take, and I mean, we don't have licensing here in Canada, but
Which we really should.
I know.
Should, because
some kind of certification process.
Yeah.
And I mean, that even could be installed by the government. Like, they should kind of say,
government recognized education.
Something. Yeah, I don't know. Because especially working with these chemicals that we're working with, is people just don't understand the process, right? So they get allergic because they don't know.
They develop an allergy.
Or from overexposure.
Yeah.
So they don't understand, and we see it all the time. They're flooding the skin with the primers, even if it's a non-acid primer. And I kind of blame even the companies, because I remember when the non-acid primers came out, they're like, oh, look, it's not burning the skin. Okay, well, yeah, it's not, but it has the HEMA in it, which is like the bonding, whatever agent that helps with bonding, which people now are highly, highly allergic to. A lot of people are. So there's nothing really wrong with that product, with HEMA, or HEMA, or whatever HEMA. But once it's cured properly, so if it's in the product has to be cured properly, not just appear, kind of cured. It has to be cured properly. And then when it's applied straight on the nail, as some bonders have the ingredient, it has to go just on the nail, not all over your skin, not seep into the live tissue, right? So the living skin. So all these things, and so gel polishes are also all the rage, and an average consumer doesn't understand. They're like, oh, it's a lamp. They don't understand that there's difference between the wavelength of how the products cure. So they're just gonna see it and they're gonna be like, someone knocking? They're gonna be like, oh, they're just trying to sell me the lamp.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna use their old other lamp, whatever, and they're not going to understand that the product looks shiny and cured when it's only 50% cured. They're gonna think that the company is just trying to talk them into buying another product. That's what I'm seeing, and I'm seeing a lot of, I'm foreseeing a lot of issues with that.
Or you're going to have people that are going to start going after the companies themselves, and especially in the United States, where everybody's very sue happy. So I'm going to sue you for everything. Well, here's one of those times where this could potentially happen, where you're going to have lawsuits.
And sadly, bad kind of
bad
reviews.
Publicity and just a lot of... There could be a lot of negative backlash, unfortunately.
And
I'm hoping...
I hate to say it, but I'm kind of seeing it. This one goes underneath. I've actually heard, and it's, again, not to say anything bad about Young Nails, because I think it's a great line, I think it's a great product. It's not...
And I love those guys to death. I love their vision, and I have for years. When I first had seen them in the trade shows, I think it was in Vegas, actually, is when I had actually first seen them. I was just absolutely blown away. The energy, everything, their message, the way that they do nails, everything was just phenomenal.
Well,
phenomenal.
But so, okay, so where I'm going with this is that, there's a lot of people that I'm kind of overhearing saying that they're allergic to Young Nails too. But the way I see it is they honestly, they're not using the product correctly.
Yeah, and again, it's...
So I'm just afraid that this is going to happen. I think even if I me as a small nobody kind of, an advice to young nails, I would honestly, I don't know, have people do some kind of online course before they, like mandatory, like you can't buy the product unless you read and answer these questions. Information.
And let there be a sign off so that if, let's say down the road there's a problem, they can say, hey, listen, here's exactly what we've done with them. We've actually put them through like a bit of a program or questionnaire. So they actually knew about this stuff. They knew that this could happen, so that they're legally
because people
free
are
and clear.
surprised. They're like, oh, and it's worse when it's obviously on clients, but even on themselves, like it happens. People are like, oh, I have like this redness. I think I'm allergic to the light. I've seen it. It's the lamp.
The lamp. I'm allergic to the lamp. I'm allergic to the light, and it's going to give me cancer.
Yeah. So the person was asking for an advice, you know, because they think they're allergic to. So I don't know. I think. Yeah, I'm kind of worried about the industry. So, you know, because I care about the industry. I don't know why I care so much, but I do care.
But you do. And that's a good thing. That's a very, very good thing. And
it's, I think, should be pro only, and it's not because I'm scared that someone is going to buy the product. I don't care. Like, and just use it themselves. I honestly don't care. It's just that I don't want people to be hurting themselves and then blaming the companies, because like Europe is like this close from banning certain ingredients. And if that happens,
it's
I don't
only a
even
matter of
know.
time before it makes its way over here.
Half of us are going to lose their jobs. I'm serious. Because if you can't have certain like products, you can't use acrylic, liquid and powder.
Base materials that are needed in order to make the product, and without some of these basic ingredients.
How come this one doesn't shine? Oh, I think they're over cured.
Really?
Why is that this hand always is like a problematic?
Because it doesn't like you. We'll go with that. What do you think?
I'm serious.
I don't know.
Guys, this is something interesting, because I think this was under the light. I'm gonna do a test later on a tip and leave one for like ever and see if that is so
what
weird.
on earth?
Right? It's weird.
Have we left it too long?
Yeah, because we're talking. No.
So what you're saying is that my nails are ruined for the next 2 weeks?
No, they're not, because I'm still gonna shape this. I'm shaping this, but this is interesting.
My hand was in the light too long. I'm going to develop an allergy. I'm going to have stage 4 by the end of this. Yeah, thank you very much.
To the light.
I'm already, like, my hand's already falling off. Thank you so much.
Anyway, so this is my, it's an hour and 5 minutes.
Hour and 5 minutes. Oh boy.
That we're talking.
Yeah.
So yes, it's a different video, but if you guys have lasted this long, I applaud.
Yeah, seriously. Like if you've lasted this long, I'm fairly impressed. You haven't got bored to tears. Now, for those who have lasted this long, let us know what you think. We were kind of taking a little bit of a different approach. We wanted to actually tackle some more serious kind of topics and do a little more of like a podcasty kind of video. We wanted something that was going to be just kind of have that essence about it, where you know there's some food for thought, you know, as well as you know doing what we do, which is nails, and you know a little bit of laugh, a little bit of fun, a little bit of the for cereal, and yeah, if you're not feeling it, you don't like the vibe, let us know. Leave comments down below. Maybe we'll do a poll so you know those who don't feel like answering, you know, actually typing out something, you just do a quick click. We'll see what we can do. They'll
probably click dislike.
Yeah, or you'll hit the dislike button. And for those who hit the dislike button, go away. There's no need for the dislike button. It's such a terrible, terrible button. And if you don't like the stuff, don't watch.
Yeah,
it's that simple. Unsubscribe, don't watch. We don't need you. But much love.
Yeah, no.
Well, I'm just having a little bit of fun. Don't take me too serious. I'm not too serious of a person. I joke a lot. Anyways, yeah, let us know what you think, and you know, weigh in on it. Let's generate some conversation.
Another thing that kind of, because I'm still thinking about the going public, but you know, where I kind of see the issue is that a lot of people have invested in the product thinking it's a professional only, and now it's not, and they kind of feel cheated. That's the problem too. I see that being a problem.
But that's just people that's so unnecessary to a certain degree, because it's like, okay, they've made a choice, they've gone one direction. Don't feel butthurt, just take it for what it is.
No, I agree with them.
It is what it is.
Because I kind of, especially when you spend like thousands of dollars on the product, I really don't know how I would feel. Okay, so my clients are not going to be online looking for Young Nails products because they know, it's technique, right? As well, to kind of make nice
they're paying
nails.
you for your service, for what you do, and for the
Your
end
knowledge
result.
and the end result. The fact that
they're not, especially our clients, they're not going to be searching Amazon, looking up Young Nails products to try and do this at home. They don't have the time. Like, we're dealing with executive women. We're dealing with a lot of higher end people that they don't have the time to be doing this, or they have kids, they have other things, better things to do with their time, so they come in, they get it done, happy, snappy, they're out the door.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about our clients.
So we don't feel threatened, but some people, no. I know, but some people do. And that's something to kind of consider when it comes to the brand.
And you know what, actually, for those who feel threatened, step up your game.
Yeah,
do better, be better. If you feel threatened that your clients are going to potentially get the product and try and do it on themselves, let them. But at the same time, if you feel that threatened, then step up your game so that you feel confident that they're not
they're getting
going to
such
do
a
that.
Value that you don't even worry about it.
Yeah. Show them the value that they're not going to feel the necessity to go on to Amazon or to Young Nails directly, or to whatever manufacturer, and get the product.
Yeah.
Show them the value.
Because it's not really about the product. Well, it is, okay. I think honestly it's not even 50-50. It's like 30% or 33, whatever, is the product. 30% is your technique, and the 30% of 33, whatever, is everything else.
That's only 90%.
That's what I'm saying, the 33%, okay? And then 10% is luck.
Well, if
I don't
you have
know,
3, okay, so that's still 99. Where's the 1%?
Okay, whatever. It's the 1% is luck. But,
yeah.
no, it's just magic.
Yeah.
Or karma or something, I don't know.
Magic, voodoo,
yeah.
Jeebus.
No, because, I've seen people that are good at what they're doing and they have good products, yet they're not successful. So it's the marketing, it's the
customer service.
Someone said to me something, I can't remember who it was. I think it's Tina Alberino said to me that sometimes it's not what you offer. Like, yes, you have to offer a good thing, but also it's how you package it. Right?
Yeah.
Because tell me, how many, I don't know, maybe you don't, because guys are a little bit more kind of straightforward, no frill kind of people, but how many times I bought a product just because I love the packaging? So let's say if I have two products and one has a super cute and really visually pleasing packaging, not necessarily fancy, but something just different about it that you feel special when you buy it, I go for the prettier packaging.
In automotive for the 9 times out of 10, it's like, oh, that car looked really, really awesome. Only to find out that, from an internal workings point of view, it was absolute garbage. But hey, it made me feel like I was having something different, and so,
so that is
guys,
yeah. But that is a very good thing to kind of think about. So it's not just what you do, it's not the product that you use, but also it's just that extra thing that you do. It's that packaging.
Well, if you take a look at, and I even mentioned earlier, you look at the Young Nails, how they kind of redid their their logo and stuff like that. It looks really cool. I really like the way that they've done it and how it even presents for their YouTube channel. It's very visually appealing. It makes me want to watch. And actually, I love their stuff, by the way. Their Instagram. Anyways.
So
you take a look at Magic, for instance. That's another one. Really good packaging. Yeah. Really good presentation. I love the box. The way that actually their logo is branded into the top of the the lid. Yeah. It's really cool. And that stands out. It's very visually appealing.
Yeah. And let's not kid ourselves. Sometimes we even buy product for us for the salon because it's gonna look good on our table.
People do that?
Of course.
I'm kidding.
No, right? Because you don't want something looking outdated, you're not with it, right?
Well, Well, yeah. But that's why people even renovate their places. They want to...
Correct.
It's the packaging.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. So it's
Unfortunately, I've seen where people have done renovations, and what made that place special was actually pre-renovations.
what?
So, like, let's say you have a restaurant, for instance, a little hole-in-the-wall place.
Oh yeah.
And even though their menu has stayed the same, they've renovated just to try and modernize, and all of a sudden they lose out.
Because sometimes, you know what? I think that the package does not match the what they're presenting.
Yeah, but
I
it
think it's just you
loses
can't-
part of it. Like
yeah.
it's kind of a balance of the product being good, but also again the packaging
Yeah.
matching it, and it kind of
Yeah, exactly. So
just
you can have a good
working-
package, but if the product is crappy, then people are gonna find out, right? So
Like a
in
1989 Toyota Corolla.
Well, and
I'm
that's the
sorry,
thing,
it
I
was
think
well
a lot
built,
of-
but they look like
yeah.
poo, and no, I would not want to drive one. I would if I had to, but
So I think what's happening sometimes, and I see it actually, is some spas or even some restaurants, they have beautiful packaging, so they have beautiful interiors and fountains. They spend too much money on the look, but they don't have any content.
Yeah,
so
there
that's
needs to be
a
a very
problem
fine
too.
balance of the two, where you know what, like the food, the menu, everything else, and we've seen it where we've had places that we loved going that had amazing. The balance was right. The customer service was awesome. The interior was awesome. The food was awesome. And then they started to tweak it, and unfortunately, it didn't work. It worked in their detriment, unfortunately. And we've seen this, and there's. But I've also seen it go the other way around, where you have companies who had not did well because they were faltering on one area or another, and were able to hone in on that and correct it and turn it into a great company. And one would be the one restaurant just down the way from us that unfortunately had the fire.
Oh, so
Right.
what about them? What do you mean?
Well, you take a look at the beginning when they first started. Packaging was nice, customer service was terrible, the food was terrible.
Yeah.
But they worked
yeah.
hard at correcting
Redoing
those
it,
things.
yeah.
And next thing you know, they had a very thriving company or restaurant. So it can go both ways.
Okay, let me explain something here.
Explain something here.
They actually recommend, sometimes you don't have to, but I'll do it, using some of the bonder on the nail. The gloss goes on better apparently.
Oh.
And you have less chipping, although...
Chipping.
I don't have issues with the top gloss chipping, but let's just kind of...
Oh, well, you know what? I don't think I've had too many issues when it comes to chipping with the product. It's always just...
lifting.
Yeah, and it's normally right around the... I think I just had a brain fart.
Oops, I touched the skin here.
I'm gonna die.
Okay, so I think we're like...
Hold on, no, I was in the middle of saying something. I had kind of a brain fart.
Okay.
Help me out here.
Yeah, that
I usually am
restaurant.
lifting around.
Lipping.
Lipping? Damn. Holy, I have not had enough coffee. And for those who don't know, I'm a very over-caffeinated individual. Probably like 90% of everybody else out there, but I have clearly not had enough.
So we're gonna use the finish. You haven't had enough coffee yet.
No, I've only had like 2 cups. Well, technically 1 cup, because the first cup is cup 0. That one doesn't
really?
count. Yeah. First cup never counts. Justin Andrews taught me that from Mind Pump.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he has a copy. Oh, it's one of those days.
Coffee addiction?
No, he has a cup that actually says like cup 0.
Oh.
It's fantastic.
Okay, there's fluff in there. Okay, so this top coat is... I don't know how I feel about these top coats. This one is... Oh my god, the no wipe one. Don't move. Because I'm trying to get like really close to the skin.
Don't touch my skin.
Yeah. This one kind of smells like acrylic.
It does actually.
Can you smell it?
Yeah.
Okay, place this one here for a few seconds. Just wanted to set a little bit. I think we're gonna make this into 2 videos because this is like an hour and 15 minutes. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say that I usually get lifting around like the new growth area. That's normally where I lift. It's never usually around the free edge, and I don't have to worry about chipping. Which is crazy because I'm very hands-on, and I tend to pick at stuff. Like whenever I have to grab stuff or like rip things open, I use my hands like tools. Like I'm not.
At least we have one honest person here.
Yeah,
so I don't know what happened.
Oh no! Hey,
I just woke up like this.
When I'm like, for instance, when I'm pulling the plug out of the tub, I use my nails, and I have to.
Awesome.
How else are you gonna get it out? Pry it out with something? Sometimes it gets suctioned in there.
Toothbrush.
I'll use your toothbrush.
That's nice. Okay, I don't know how I feel about this top coat, to be honest with you guys. It's kind of a little...
Time will tell.
Weird. Okay. Alright.
Okay, so what are we doing with this one here?
Same thing.
Streaky bond streaky.
No, that has the bonder on it. Since it's not streaky.
Oh.
Don't move.
Sorry, I've gotten a little lost in conversation here and forgotten just exactly where we are with a lot of what we're doing to my hands. Just because I'm kind of looking everywhere else but. Trying to concentrate on the conversations at hand and not get too far off course and sound like a complete imbecile. Which I'm really good at, by the way.
Oh, that's fun.
What, me sounding like an imbecile? Yes. Yeah, because I'm really, really good at that.
So I'm kind of wondering, because I'm not really that familiar with this top coat, are you supposed to put it on like kind of floating it or like super thin? Did you feel any heat, by the way?
Warmth, but not...
Okay.
Short answer, yes. Long answer would be, it's not bad.
Yeah. We want the details. Oh, at the end of the video, I had a question from one of the viewers, and she was asking about the Dazzle Dry that I love.
The end of what video?
This video. Questions from the viewers.
Oh, so we're doing a Q&A now?
Very quick.
Okay.
Very quick, because I
All right, so we're doing a little bit of a Q&A from,
Yeah, from the whatever.
From various platforms,
someone was asking,
there's been questions.
Yeah, someone was asking about the Dazzle Dry and if it's the whole system or if it works over any other polish. And I would say it's a whole system. I haven't tried, and I mean, I try a lot of stuff, but I can't be even bothered because I know it's different. And I use the Dazzle Dry with their polish because the polish is different. The polish itself is different.
How long does my, are we timing this?
Yeah, 2 minutes. Okay, pull this one out and put this one in here. I'm gonna quickly check if it's 2 or 3 minute cure. Yeah, 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes, okay, so let's just cure this. Okay, give me this one. No, this stays in.
Okay.
And give me the other hand.
You need to be specific?
You're not reading my mind?
No.
Okay,
sorry, my telepathy's not working well today because I haven't had enough coffee.
Okay, so these top coats are prone to sometimes going cloudy when you put oil on them or you touch them right away. So we're gonna kind of like let it be for a minute. Let it be for a minute, and then we'll put oil.
Anyway, so let's get on with this Q&A here. Let's.
No, that was the answer. I already did it.
Oh. What?
Okay. So yes,
I thought there was more than one question.
Okay,
usually, if you have a Q&A, you have at least like a few questions, not just one.
Okay. Okay. So that I failed this time. So this is just going to be a quick answer to a quick question.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because we should be actually.
Okay, that was a fail. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna do Q&A.
We're gonna start doing some Q&A.
Yeah.
And we're actually going to, have the,
like 3 questions.
5.
Maybe. Okay, 5.
5 questions.
Every time I do your nails. So you're gonna read them and I'm gonna answer as I'm doing your nails. Yes?
Sure.
Okay. All right, so let's see these babies.
And just as a final, out to Young Nails, if they happen to see this, all the love in the world, success and no hate. I hope that nothing we've said has come across the wrong way.
Okay, let's let's do this.
in any sort of way whatsoever.
Yeah.
And you keep kind of moving my hands around. Now, what are we doing
Because
here?
we're doing like a little nice thing here.
A little nice thing?
Yeah, a little, you know, a presentation.
Stop touching my nails.
A presentation. There you go.
My
Okay.
hands look dry.
Yeah, because they need oil. Okay.
Yes, they do.
That's it. People
That's
don't
it?
need to see the oil application because they've seen it many times. Okay.
Whatever. It's part of the
Guys, thank you
presentation.
so much for watching.
Yes, thank you very much.
And I will see you soon.
But before we leave,
Oh,
make
God.
sure that you hit that like button, hit subscribe, check out our Patreon. And if you have any questions or concerns, please feel
and
free to leave
also-
those down below. And we will try and get to them whenever we can.
Yes. And also, I will provide you with a link. And I created a link. Yes, because I created one-on-one coaching available online, booked.
Yes.
So if you want to talk to me, for like sit down and kind of really talk to me if you have additional questions or you really need things answered in depth.
Some business consulting, perhaps?
Then
She's
yes,
your woman.
click the link
And I'm your man.
book.
I'm her man. I'm someone's man. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay, so click that link and book the coaching with me if you're interested. And I hope you like this video. Thank you so
Yes.
much for watching. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Hi guys.
Hey, everyone.
So this video today, we are